Hello students, welcome to my video number 72 and I'm going to start second lesson of unit 6 instead of the war drum. So before starting, let us know a little content of the lesson, what we are going to do. The lesson is based on the religion of Buddhism and how it brought about, how the war and destruction of war brought about change of heart of Emperor Ashoka, and how Emperor Ashoka helped in spread of Buddhism. All these we will get to learn in this lesson. So basically the lesson is based on the religion of Buddhism, and also it teaches us the message of the religion, that the message of peace and kindness. And I just feel like the students must be aware about the story of Buddha, that the Prince Siddhartha, how he gave up his royalty and went out to spread the message of peace and kindness to the world. So this is already something known to my students. So we will just start the lesson now. Let us see what it speaks about, what it says about. A long time ago, in the 3rd century BCE, a young woman was sailing to a faraway island. She wore patched robes and had a shaved head. Her brother was waiting for her on the island. They were both on a mission. She wasn't just any young woman. She was the princess of Magad and a Buddhist monk. Her name was Sanghamitra. She and her twin brother Mahendra had been sent to Sri Lanka by their father, Emperor Ashoka, to help spread Buddhism. So the story, this lesson is based to the time period 3rd century BCE, that is before Christ era. So that's long back in history. A woman who was the daughter of Emperor Ashoka, her name was Sanghamitra, she was sent to Sri Lanka to spread the message of Buddhism. She and her brother Mahendra both were on a mission, and the mission was spreading Buddhism. So they both went there to Sri Lanka to spread the religion. Let us see. Mahendra had been preaching Buddhism to the people of Sri Lanka before his sister arrived. Sanghamitra began to work with the women of the country and started an order of female monks or nuns. So this both the brother and sister, they just got themselves involved in spreading the message of Buddhism, and Sanghamitra began to work with the women and started an order of female monks or nuns. She also carried a cutting of the Bodhi tree. The history behind Bodhi tree you all must be aware of it, under which Gautam Buddha had attained enlightenment. We know what is enlightenment. Enlightenment means the knowledge about truth, the knowledge about the presence or existence of the world, existence of life on earth. So all these that is altogether called enlightenment, and Gautam Buddha had attained it sitting under Bodhi tree. So this Sanghamitra, the daughter of Emperor Ashoka, she carried with her a cutting of the tree, and she planted that in Sri Lanka, and the legend says that the tree is still there in Sri Lanka. Emperor Ashoka was an ardent Buddhist. Ardent means very passionate, very much devoted Buddhist. He took many steps to popularize the religion both within his own empire, which covered most of the Indian subcontinent, including what is now Afghanistan and Baluchistan, and abroad. In addition to sending his children to preach in Sri Lanka, he recruited Buddhist monks and sent them as emissaries to countries as far as Syria, Egypt, and Macedonia. So we get to see that Emperor Ashoka took every step to spread the message of Buddhism to the world. Like that time the Indian subcontinent was including Afghanistan, Baluchistan. So he sent monks to preach the message of Buddhism to these places, and he also recruited Buddhist monks. Recruited means he hired the people who would serve as Buddhist monks and send them as emissaries. Emissaries means any agent that is sent on some mission. So they were sent to the countries as far as Syria, Egypt, and Macedonia. Many prominent Buddhist monks and officials from Ashoka's court also went to Southeast Asia to propagate their religion. So what we see, he tried to cover every part of the world which could be reached, which was under the reach, to spread the message of Buddhism. He built a number of stupas which are believed to hold the relics of the Buddha. The Sanchi stupa built by Ashoka is now a World Heritage Site. In addition, he erected a number of inscribed pillars, one of them being the Ashoka pillar. Similar inscriptions have also been found on boulders and in caves. In all, 33 such inscriptions have been found, which are collectively referred to as Ashoka's edicts. The inscriptions proclaim Ashoka's belief in the Buddhist principles of Dhamma or non-violence and his intention to win over people by good deeds. They also talk about his social efforts to protect his subjects, both humans and animals. So there we get to see the history behind Ashoka, that is the kind of monuments or structures that he built and what all they are inscribed with. There are inscriptions on the pillars that under his reign that were made, and the inscriptions are found on boulders and in caves, and in all 33 such inscriptions have been found, which are collectively referred to as Ashoka's edicts. So here inscriptions, we know the carving that is done on pillars, some sayings or some messages carved on the pillars, and such 33 such inscriptions are totally called as Ashoka's edicts. The inscriptions proclaim Ashoka's belief. Like these inscriptions give an insight into the belief of Ashoka, that is on the principle of Dhamma. Dhamma is the principle of non-violence, and what other intentions he had to win over the people by good deeds. How, like all the goodness, all the kindness that he had in his heart, that all are carved on these pillars. They also talk about his social efforts to protect his subjects. So a lot of insight, lot of knowledge could be gained about the reign of Emperor Ashoka through these inscriptions on the pillars. So many things could be made out from the inscriptions that are found on the pillars about his reign, about the social order, about the principles that he believed in, all that. Emperor Ashoka is referred to as Devanam Pyadasi, beloved of the gods, in these edicts. But Emperor Ashoka was not always called the beloved of the gods. When he was a young prince, Ashoka's nickname was Chand, Fires Ashoka. It was a well-deserved nickname. So like he was not always called beloved of the gods, because when he was a young prince, that time he was known by some other name, another nickname he was given, that was Chand. That means fires, and it was a well-deserved nickname. Now let us know why this nickname was well-deserved, why he deserved such nickname, which meant fires. Fires means very angry, very destructive. As a young child, Ashoka had a skin disease that made him unpleasant to look at. His father Bindusara did not like him very much, so Ashoka decided to prove himself. He became a fearless warrior. Now, we get to see that Ashoka had a skin disease which made him look unpleasant. That is, due to that skin disease, he did not look nice. So, his father did not like him very much because of his looks. So, Ashoka decided to prove himself, and he became a fearless warrior. He just put all his strength in becoming a good soldier, a warrior. Eventually, his father began to value him as a soldier and a statesman. Bindusara made Ashoka the governor of a far-off province. Bindusara was, we know, he was the father of Ashoka. He made him the governor of a far-off prince. Once Ashoka was able to prove his mettle, prove his strength as a warrior, he was appointed as the governor of a far-off province by his father. The prince also led small wars in distant parts of the kingdom. After Bindusara died, Ashoka declared himself to be the new king. However, Ashoka's older brothers wanted the throne for themselves. This led to a 2-year war of succession in which Ashoka defeated his brothers and became King Ashoka. So here we get to see that there was like a war between brothers which was the war of succession. That is after the death of their father, the brothers started fighting to get hold of the throne, to capture the throne, and that war continued for 2 years, and ultimately Ashoka was able to defeat his brothers and became the king himself. For 8 years after his coronation, Ashoka fought many wars and conquered many territories. Coronation, we know, the ritual ceremony that is held for formally giving the throne to the new king or new prince. But the ambitious king was still not satisfied. There was one kingdom in the east, so he started conquering many territories that were attached to his kingdom, and then also he was not very satisfied. There was one kingdom in the east of India that still refused to submit to him. As we can see that he had become very much powerful at that time, and he could not take up anybody not surrendering to him. So this was the kingdom of Kalinga. So this kingdom, that is the king of Kalinga, was not ready to surrender to him. This Kalinga, which covered the present day northern Andhra Pradesh, most of Orissa, and a portion of Madhya Pradesh. So it's we can make out it's a huge land area, huge territory of that time. Consists of Andhra Pradesh, that is northern Andhra Pradesh, most of Orissa, and portion of Madhya Pradesh. So it was a large territory which Ashoka wanted to bring under his control. Let us see what he did. Emperor Ashoka was determined to make Kalinga part of his kingdom. So the king started a war against the neighboring kingdom, leading the war efforts himself. So he just wanted to bring Kalinga under his kingship, and he declared a war against the neighboring kingdom, that is against Kalinga, and he took up the charge and attacked the neighboring kingdom of Kalinga. So we're going to stop here. We'll continue in the next video, the rest part of the lesson. Till then, everybody take care and God bless you all.